right, today what we're talking about is numbers, okay? And when we talk about numbers, there's many different numbers out there that you deal with, right? So give me 3 ways to express a number. What's the first way? Fractions. What's another way? Yep. Decimals. What's another way? Percents. I mean, that literally is all 3 of them. Fractions, decimals, and percents. Okay? Now, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be able to go back from a fraction to a decimal to a percent, from a percent to a fraction, from a decimal back to a fraction, back to a percent. Okay? You need to be able to go all 3 ways. All right? So, with that said, here we go. Convert the percent to a decimal. If something is a percent, what's actually happening? How do you convert it back to a decimal? Which direction do I move it? You're moving it to the left 2 units. Why? Because what you're doing is multiplying your decimal by what? By 100, right? Okay? So if I have 14%, this is where my decimal is. So to turn it into a decimal, what do I need to do? Move it to the left 2 units. That's going to give me 0.14 as my decimal. Do we understand that? Yes or no? We all good? Yeah? To turn it into a percent, you're multiplying by 100. To turn it back into a decimal, you're actually dividing by what? 100. Yeah? Same concept. The easiest thing I can tell you is just move the decimal point to the left 2 units. Okay, so now we're at 163.5%. Why did I rewrite this one? Because you couldn't see the decimal point, could you? On the 14%, you didn't know where the decimal point was. It was understood to be after the 4. Here I have 163.5. Do I see the decimal point? Yes. So what should I do? Move it to the left 2 times to be 1.635. Do we all understand that? Yes or no? Okay. Notes should be out. You guys should be writing this down. You should be writing this down. If I have you write it down, that way you won't forget how to do your homework tonight. Yes? Okay, next. Converting a fraction to a decimal. Converting the fraction to a decimal. I give you 1/8. How do I convert that to a decimal without using your calculator? I'm going to let you guys check using the calculator, but I need to see work on tonight's homework. Do you understand me? You got to do long division. You have to do long division, okay? Long division is required. Long division is required. So how do I go about doing that? Here's my nice little box. Remember your box from back in the day? What goes on the outside? The numerator or the denominator? Numerator is the top, denominator is the bottom. You with me? Okay? The 8 goes on the outside, the 1 goes on the inside. Do you see how I'm adding 3 zeros there? Okay? The decimal point goes right above it. Okay? Do we see that? So now, what do I multiply 8 by to get 1? Can I do that? No. So then I look at the next number and I add it to it. So I'm going to say, what do I multiply 8 by to get 10? 1. So 1 times 8 is 8. And then what do I do right here? Subtract. So 10 take away 8 is 2. Drop down the 0. What do I multiply 8 by to get 20? 2. 8 times 2 is what, folks? 16. Then I'm going to subtract vertically here. 20 take away 16 is what? 4. Drop down the 0. 8 times what is 40? 5. This is your decimal equivalent. Now, if you use your graphing calculator, you guys can check that you're correct, okay? 1 divided by 8, put the decimal point in the denominator. If you do not put the decimal point in the denominator, you're not going to get a decimal. Do we all understand that? 1 divided by 8, decimal, enter. Are we correct? Oh, you don't have to log in. You guys don't have to log in. Thank you, though, for attempting. Okay? Does everybody know how to use the calculator? Okay. Okay, let's come over here to the next example. 13 over 20. I need to change this into a fraction. So I need my lovely little box. The 20 goes where? The outside, the 13 goes on the inside. Put your decimal point and add your zeros. Put your decimal point above as well. Does everybody see this? Okay. Now, does 20 go into 13? No. Does 20 go into 130? Yes. How many times? 6. Very good. So this is going to be a 6, multiplying the diagonal. 6 times 2 is 12, so that's going to be 120, right? Subtract vertically. So it'll be 10. Very good. Drop down the 0. How many times do I need to multiply 20 by to get 100? 5. 5 times 20 is going to be 100, and that's going to give me 0. So my decimal equivalent of 13/20 is going to be 0.65. Do y'all remember this? It's been a long time, though, hasn't it? A real long time. You didn't like it then either, did you? Do you like it any more now? Okay. I want the work on the paper, all right? But you can always check using your calculator. Do you understand me? I'm totally cool with that. But I want you to show me the work on your homework tonight. Okay, what about this? What type of a number is that? A mixed number. I can't really change the mixed number into a decimal without first doing what? Well, there are a couple things you guys can do, and honestly, my gut instinct as a math teacher is to use the C rule. What's the C rule? Remember the C rule? No one remembers the C rule? To turn it into an improper fraction? You multiply on the diagonal, the denominator and the big number, so what's 8 times 6? Plus 3 more? 51. So this is actually 51 over 8, right? And that's how we did that. We took 6 times 8, and then we added 3 units to it, and that gave us the 51 over the 8. Do we understand that? Yes or no? Okay? Now I need to change this into a decimal, so how do I do that? Put your zeros up there, or put your decimal up there. Now, folks, this is a dead giveaway. What number times 8 gives me 51? You know why? Because that was the mixed number part. You with me? It'll be like that every time. Okay? So this is going to be a 6. So 6 times 8 is 48, and subtract. What does that give you? Guess what? Where that came from? The numerator. You with me? Does that make sense? Never saw that before, did you? Never noticed it. Kylie? Do the 3/8? You absolutely can. That's what I was going to get to for you guys to understand. A lot of you you've just done the improper fraction and then done the long division. You've never recognized where those parts come from before. Never. There's some aha moments coming on whenever I'm showing you this. Okay? So if we do this, if I drop down the 0, okay, 8 times what gives you 30, or close to 30? 3. So 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract, that's going to be 6, right? 6 times what is, or 8 times what is close to 60? 7. 8 times 7 is what? 56. Subtract, that gives me a 4. Put a 0 there and drop it down. 8 times what is 40? 5. Now, this is your decimal equivalent. Now, what Kylie's saying is, why do I have to do that? He's absolutely right. Many of you have never recognized it like that. If you just go ahead and do 3/8, you with me? You're going to get the 3.75, and it's just going to be 6.375. Do we understand that? Every time. Every time. Because look, Isn't that what we would have? Right? Okay. All right. Next is convert the decimal to a fraction. Convert a decimal to a fraction. No, that would be a percent. Okay, we don't want to do the percent. We want to take this decimal and turn it into a fraction. Okay, so I have 0.05. This is where you have to look at the place value after the decimal. So what is the first place value here? This is the tenths. What's this? Hundredths. So since this is the hundredths place, I'm going to make that 5 over 100. I'm going to make that 5 over 100. Do you remember doing this? And then you have to reduce. Well, what's inside each of these? A 5. So 5 divided by 5 is a 1. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So you have 1/20th. And can you check that on your calculator? Sure. How do you do that on your calculator? To do that on your calculator, you are simply going to I'm going to have a calculator dock, and I'm going to put 0.05, and then I'm going to hit menu, number, and then what do I want it to do? Approximate to fraction, and hit enter. And 1/20th is my answer, and I've checked it. Do we understand that? Okay, next. Guess what this is? It's a repeating decimal. How do I get a repeating decimal into a fraction? Well, we got to be tricky on this one. And these are not on your homework assignments tonight. This is not on your homework assignment. I repeat, this is not on your homework assignment. But I didn't think it was fair for me to leave out an entire type of fraction out there. And you'd be like, well, Mrs. Yoder never covered that. I want you to be aware. So what we're going to do is, you don't have to write this down. I just want you to be aware of how to do it. I'm going to say x is equal to 0.111 repeating. You with me? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 10x. If I say 10x, I'm multiplying that decimal by 10, which means I'm moving it to the right 1 unit, aren't I? So 10x is equal to 1.11 repeating. Would you agree? Yes? And then what I can do is I can subtract these two. So if I subtract these two, what we have here is 10 take away 1 is going to be 9x. And then 1 take away 0 is still 1. And then these all cancel out, isn't it? Do you see those go away? Which is pretty cool, right? And then I have this equation. So how do I solve that? Divide by 9. So I have x is equal to 1/9. So the fraction equivalent of 0.11111 repeating is 1/9. Okay? Which I think that's pretty interesting. Probably never seen that done before. And you have to do that with repeating decimals because that's the only way you can get it to work out. Okay? Again, that's not on your homework tonight, but I just wanted you to be aware. Okay? All right, convert this decimal to a fraction in lowest terms. What is 0.25? It is 1/4, so this is actually 7 1/4. Would you agree? Can I do the C rule? Sure. What's 7 times 4? Plus 1? 29 over 4. It's in lowest terms already, isn't it? Right? You with me? 25 is the same thing as saying 25 over 100, right? Yes? If I were to reduce that, how many quarters are in a dollar? 4, which is why I have 1/4. So this is the same thing as 7 1/4. Does that make sense now? Do we see it? Okay, perfect. Now I'm not going to do this next example because that is just, another repeating decimal one. I already showed you once how to do that. If you want to try that yourself, you can. The answer should be 1/3, okay? The answer should be 1/3. Okay, how do I convert the percent to a decimal? Percent to a decimal. How do I make that a decimal? 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So that's 1.1125. Nope, I added another 1 in there, didn't I? Oopsie. Do we all see that? Okay, what about this one? 3 1/4%. I want a decimal, don't I? What's a fourth? 0.25, right? Okay? If you're not certain about that, well, that's the same thing as putting the 4 on the outside, the 1 goes there, and that. Do we remember that? It's the same thing, right? Bless you. So this gives me a 2, this gives me an 8. We subtract them, that gives me a 2, drop down a 0. This gives me a 5. Not a 5, sorry, a 0. And that's going to give me the 0.25, right? I'm assuming many of you already know that, okay? But I want to make sure that you're with me. So this is actually going to be 3.25%. So how do I change that into a decimal? To the left still. So this is going to be 1, 2. So I have to add a 0 in front of that 3. I have to add a 0 in front of that 3. Do we see that? So 0.0325. Y'all with me? Okay. Determine the fraction equivalent to the percent in lowest terms. Guess what I gave you this time? I gave you percent, and what am I asking for? I'm asking for a fraction. So wouldn't it be smart for me to get it out of percent and put it into a decimal first, right? Okay, so let's put this into a decimal, which means I have to move this over 2 places to the which direction? To the left, 1, 2. So this is 0.875. That's my decimal. Now what do I have to do with that? You have to make this right here. Look at the place value. This is the tenths. What's this? Hundredths. What's this? So this is 875 over 1,000. 875 over 1,000. Do we see that? Yes or no? Okay. Now what do I have to do? Reduce. Think money. Go by quarters. You with me? So on your calculator, take 875 and divide it by 25. 875 and divide it by 25. What does that give you? 35. And what is 1,000 divided by 25? 40. Is that a number that you can think easily now in? Yes. What are those both divisible by now? 5. So what does this reduce down to? If I take 35 and divide it by 5, that gives me? If I take 80 or 40 and divide it by 5, it gives me 8. So 7/8 is correct. Okay? Now I want to show you something. Type in your calculator this right here. Type in your calculator this right here. 875 divided by 1,000 and hit enter. Do not put a decimal point. 875 division key divided by that 1,000 and hit enter. What does it give you? Right away, doesn't it? So you didn't have to go through that nice reducing. But whenever you're reducing a fraction using the place values, always think in what number? 25 or 5, right? 25 because we do quarters, right? Make sense? Okay, what about this ugly one over here? What do we do first? Take it from a percent to a what? Decimal. So what's this going to be? 10.3835, right? You with me? Now what? I need it to be a fraction. What's this first 3 place value? Tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000ths. So that's 10 and then 3,835 all over 10,000. Do we see that? Right? Now, what are you going to type in your calculator right now? You're going to type in your calculator 3835 divided by 10,000. And hit enter. Do we see that? 767 over, what was it, 2,000 or 200? 200? 2,000, right? Over 2,000. There's 3 zeros? Maybe you only divided by 1,000 rather than by 10,000. You know what I mean? Okay. All right, are we all good on this? Am I done? Why am I not done? Because what type of a number is this? Mixed number. What do I want? Lowest form, which is a improper fraction. So how do I get an improper fraction? Ten times 2,000. So what is that going to give me? All over 2,000. Do we all understand that? Yes or no? Yes? We good? Okay, that's how you are going to do it. Now, tonight's homework. We still have 12 minutes. I can get you started with this as well, so you guys don't have as much to do by yourself. Pass one back. I don't know what I was thinking. I know, right? How easy is it, though? Yeah, right. Okay. This is easy, period. So period easy. Everyone easy. Okay. Problems 1 through 6. It says determine the decimal equivalent to the fraction. So number 1, what's that one going to be? 1/2 is what? 0.5. Write it down. Pencil, 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 pencil. Pencil, pencil, pencil. Yeah? Y'all got pencil now? Cool beans. You don't have pencils? Borrow. Anybody got an extra pencil? Give it back at the end of the period. Okay, so number 1 is 1/2. What is the decimal equivalent? 0.5, right? Okay. Number 2, 3 over 25. How do I do this? You got to show me your work. So what am I doing? The 25 goes on the outside. The 3 goes on the inside. Put that decimal point. Okay? Does 25 go into 3? No. Does 25 go into 30? Yes. How many times? Once. So I need to bring this down, subtract, and that gives me a 5. Bring down the 0. Does 25 go into 50? Yes. Twice. So my answer is going to be 0.12. Y'all with me? I better see the long division. What's the point of me giving you this worksheet if the calculator can do it all for you? You got to show me the long division, okay? If you get through this, I'll let you have the calculator the rest of the time. Okay, see? Do it my way, then I'll let you have it your way. Okay. Next. Are we good with that first batch of directions? Which bottom? This bottom? No, it's a 0. My bad. How did I get a 2? 25 times 2 is 50. 2/4 is 50 cents. Right? Think money. Okay, do we want to do number 3 or are you good? Do 3? Okay. Okay, 6 1/8. How do I turn this into a decimal? I can, or can I just do the 1/8? Could I just do the 1/8? I could just do the 1/8. So I'm going to have the 8 on the outside, the 1 there. So how many times does 8 go into 10? Once. So that's going to give me the 8. 10 take away 8 is going to be a 2. Bring down a 0. How many times does 8 go into 20? Twice. That's going to give me 16. That's a 4. Drop down a 0. How many times does 8 go into 40? 5. So now, what is the decimal equivalent of 6 1/8? No? 6.125. Now, Sam, if this is bothering you, then go ahead and do your 49/8 and do the long division that way, honey. Okay? If that's how you want to do it. Because I think that is where your head's at, right? Then do it like that. That's okay. All right. Next set of instructions. Determine the fraction equivalent to the decimal. I give you the decimal. Now what am I wanting? I'm wanting the fraction. So number 7, I give you 0.25. So what place value is 0.25 at? It's in the hundredths, which reduces down to 1/4. I want to see that conversion first, okay? I know. I want to see that place value. Because there's going to come a time when you're like, holy crap, I don't know how to do that problem, and I need to remember the place value. For example, number 10, 0.0025. Y'all don't know that off the top of your head, do you? So I need you to remember to do the place value. So what place value is this first 0 right here after the decimal? Tenths. 10,000. So this is 25 over 10,000, right? And what did I tell you to always divide by? 5 25s, right? So 25 divided by 25 is what? 1. What is 10,000 divided by 25? Use your calculator. What is 10,000 divided by 25? I'm sorry? 400. Now, can you check this? Can you check that you did not screw this up with the place value? Because this is important, people. Go ahead and do 0.0025 and then hit menu, number, approximate to fraction, and hit enter. It should give you the correct answer. Do y'all understand me? Okay, move on to the next section. And it says determine the fraction equivalent to the percent. I want the fraction equivalent, so number 13. How do I do 15%? It's a percent. What do I have to change it to first? I need to change that to a decimal first. So what is that going to be in decimal form? 0.15. Go 2 places to the left. Once you change this into a decimal, then you need to change this into a fraction and then reduce it. They're both divisible by 5, so therefore this becomes a 3, and this becomes a 2 to give you 3/20. Okay? And I will go over any question you guys have next day in class. Have a great day.